We're going to go to the tour board there. Everybody get out of the bus. We're going to go to the big one, the tour board boat. The next one, Luna, pay your more get in Luna. Chạy Luna. Hey, Mula, get in. Follow the boat. Go ahead.
No, your group is there.
My group?
Chúng ta mà chạy đó ha.
Mà chạy. Yep. Smiling guy, we on the upper deck.
Wow, look how white those are.
How white you are. Do you want to get? But you can sit right there.
Is Mom all by herself in the back?
No, but Sony. So we all.
You guys are safe to float the Wisconsin River in style. We've been giving tours for a very long time and we've never had to use these. We're just required to point out where they are. So on the back deck there is a large wooden crate with adult and child-sized life jackets in there. And then down below there are 6 wooden bench seats as well as a closet with plenty for everyone. So, do we have any questions? No? Alright.
Okay, we pay Muro. It's not bad with the sun on the back.
Well, good afternoon and welcome aboard the Viking. We're in Water Canyon and the second at the world famous Stand Rock. Now, how are you guys feeling here on the bottom deck? All right, I'll take it. And on the back deck, if you guys could give us a little wave back there. Hello. And on the top deck, since we can't see or hear you, if you want to give a little tap tap with your feet to let us know how you're doing. Awesome. Well, my name is Ellie, and I'll be your tour guide for today. It is my 3rd season with those boat tours, and I'm typically a tour guide on the upper and the lower dells. I just graduated from Portage High School, and this coming fall, I'll be attending the University of Wisconsin La Crosse to major in biology with the plan of getting their physician assistant program at some point. I'm also local of the area, so if you guys have any questions about where to eat or what to do, I'd be happy to help you out.
And what a beautiful afternoon it is. I too would like to welcome you aboard the Viking. My name is Luke and I'm going to be your captain out here on the river today. I just finished up my 1st year down at UW Milwaukee. There I run on their Division I track and field team and I'm getting my degree in dog walking.
For real.
Somebody's got to do it, folks. Somebody's got to do it. That is going to do it for the stuff about me. I do have a couple rules and regulations I am required to say before every tour. The first of which is please remain seated. Once again, please remain in your seat when we're on the river. Viking might rock and sway out here on the river today. Bottom deck, if that rocking and swaying makes you nauseous, please remember our windows down here are open. But more importantly, top deck, if that makes you guys nauseous, please remember our windows down here are open. It's kind of a joke, but not really. We do understand that it is a scenic tour, so if you would like to stand quickly to take a picture, that's perfectly okay. Just find your seat immediately following that. Our next rule is no smoking. Once again, please, no smoking. We do have one designated smoking area at the end of the Witches Gulch Trail, but that is the only point in our entire 2 hours that it is our right to smoke. Our last and perhaps the most important rule is we humbly request when your tour guide Ellie or myself is on the microphone that you guys keep your louder cell phone conversations to a minimum. It's not only as a common courtesy to the people around you, but also to your tour guide Ellie. I know it can be hard to give a tour when people are being disrespectful. I know you might diagonally southwest across the entire state of Wisconsin for 432 miles until it empties into the mighty Mississippi just south of Prairie du Chien, Wisconsin at Wyalusing State Park. That makes it the longest state-contained river in the entire United States. It is also one of the hardest working and damnedest rivers of its kind, as along the way there are 27 dams. 21 of those are hydroelectric and 6 are flood controlled. The very first one of those dams was built right here in Wisconsin Dells, back by our home docks. That is the Kilbourne Dam. Built back in 1909, it was quite the modern marvel for its time, as it was the largest hydroelectric project attempted west of Niagara Falls. Back in those days, the Kilbourne Dam created so much power there was no use for it around here, so they sent it down to Milwaukee to power their streetcars and rail cars. But these days, the power from the Kilbourne Dam is used for 10,000 area homes and businesses. I think that's all pretty cool, so Ellie or myself be sure to point that out to you on our way back downriver. I do sometimes like to also talk about our boat. Today we're riding on the Viking. It was built back in 1961. It's powered by 2 Detroit diesel 150 horsepower engines. It's 56 feet long, 12 feet wide, weighs in a whopping 41 tons, which does remind me quite a bit of my ex-girlfriend. I do think that is going to do it for me for now. I'll give it back over to Ellie. I think she gives an outstanding tour, even though she is from Portage. I even like to call it tourific. Please sit back, relax, and enjoy the beautiful and scenic upper dells of the Wisconsin River. Welcome aboard, everybody.
Our first 2 points of interest make quite the stunning entrance to this part of the river. These two are known as the Jaws. Illinois militia wasn't very happy and opened fire on them, starting the Black Hawk War. We started to talk about the rock in this area. It's a very special type of rock known as Cambrian sandstone or Potsdam sandstone of the Cambrian geological era. But by far the largest and, in my opinion, the most grand display right here in Wisconsin Dells. This Potsdam sandstone is very fragile, in fact, so soft that if you were to take a piece of this rock and rub it between your hands, you could return it back to the sand that it was originally formed from. That is what allows those big, beautiful trees to grow right out of the rock face with little to no topsoil and bury their roots up to 50 feet into the rock. Along with being so rare and well, we are now in the Narrows. So back before beer, cheese, brats, and the Packers made Wisconsin famous, we were actually known for our lumber industry. Lumberjacks would come here and roam the vast Wisconsin wilderness, cutting down large old-growth white pines and making them into lumber rafts that could be up to 300 feet long. They would then float these lumber rafts down the Wisconsin and Mississippi rivers, sometimes going as far as Louisiana. If you were to ask these men what the most dangerous part of their trip would have been, many of them would have said right here in the Narrows because of its extreme narrowness, strong current, and the 90-degree bend in the river called the Devil's Elbow. The Devil's Elbow got its name because many men lost their lives on this stretch of the river, sometimes even lose their life. Coming up in this next cove off to your left side, it will be on the right wall of the cove, about 6 feet up from the water. There's an inscription. It is very weathered and hard to read, but it will be saying Leroy Gates, Dells and River Pilot from 1849 to 58. It's now directly off to your left side. Again, right wall of the cove, 6 feet up from the water, just under that dark layer of rock. Also just hiding behind some of that low-hanging foliage there. Best of the best. He even boasted his skills by wearing patent leather shoes, a full suit, and a top hat while he navigated the Narrows. Though Leroy never lost a passenger or a raft, he did end up losing his job when the lumber industry switched over to the railroad, and because of this he created the first Dells boat tours. If you wanted to take one of Leroy's tours, you would have gone over to his private dock, handed him a quarter, and in return he would have handed you 2 oars. You'd have then had to paddle yourself up and down this stretch of the river, with the trip sometimes taking over 8 hours to complete. I like to think we're a little bit more accommodating today, don't you think? Back between the Devil's Elbow and the Gates inscription was the location of the first bridge to span the Wisconsin River. Following the shoreline up on the right side, you can see a large triangular-shaped rock known as the Giant Shield. It's one of our natural high water markers here in the Wisconsin River. In 1993 and again in 2010, water crested to the top of the Giant Shield. The highest ever recorded happened back in 1938, where the water crested 4 feet above the shield. We do have an abundance of wildlife here in the Wisconsin Dells area. Up in the air, we actually have two types of eagles. We have the bald eagle, and then we have the golden eagle, which is a bit more rare to see. In the river, we have 38 species of fish, ranging from small panfish all the way to the lake sturgeon, which can reach up to 7 feet long and weigh over 200 pounds here in the Wisconsin River. We also have a lot of popular game fish, such as smallmouth bass. And then we just have those normal Wisconsin woodland creatures, the deer, chipmunks, squirrels, coyotes, wolves, those... Steamboat Rock is the only rocky island on the upper dells of the Wisconsin River. Steamboat Rock got its name from early hot air balloonists who thought that from aerial view, this rock looked like one of their old pumpkin seed-shaped steamboats. Well, we are now in Lover's Lane. Now we do have a tradition here in Lover's Lane. So if you're sitting next to that special someone, or you just got placed next to someone you think is kind of cute, you're just gonna cozy on up to them, put your arm around them, and give them a nice, crisp hug. You know, or $20, it works the same. Stairs off to your right lead up to the Chula Vista Resort, those large tan and red buildings up there. Chula Vista means beautiful view, and I do agree, that is exactly what they have. But back about 100 years ago, this view would have looked very different. There would have been many private homes and businesses lining the shorelines. Well, one man didn't like this very much. His name was George Crandall, and he decided to do something about it. When the Great Depression hit, George Crandall was able to buy over 90% of the shoreline, sometimes for even under $1 an acre. He then proceeded to burn down or tear down all of those private homes and businesses, and in their place replant thousands and thousands of trees. George Crandall was still a humble man, though, even known for saying, "No man can own the Dells, he can only be its custodian for it to heat their homes." Now, it seemed like a pretty good idea at the time, but when spring came and the river melted, it left quite the navigational hazard that still exists today, known as the sunken forests of the Dells. Many of those subs haven't cut out of the water, but there still are quite a few, so we have to take a pretty specific path when we cross through Sandrock Bay to avoid any of those unpleasant trees. Unpleasant trees. Tough crowd, tough crowd. So he swam his way back here, only for his entrance to be blocked by a small waterfall and fallen branches. Not to be discouraged, Ncaij Bennett waited till the following winter and skated 5 miles on homemade ice skates, jumping steps into that then frozen waterfall, and finding this beautiful glacial meltwater canyon that you're going to see. Now this will be our first stop. It's about 2 blocks in and 2 blocks out via the same flat level boardwalk. You're welcome to turn around at any point in time, or if you'd rather just stay back here and keep your captain company, you are welcome to do that as well. There are a couple points of interest we'd like you to look for. Those would be the Witch's Falls, Witch's Window, and Witch's Bathtub. And if you can't tell which is which, there are running yellow signs. Point those out for you. At the end of the walk, you'll find the concession stand and bathroom area, as well as the only smoking area here on this tour, so feel free to use any or all of those facilities. If you are going to use the smoking area, it's backed by a large stop sign. Please don't smoke anywhere but by that sign, and then this also goes for everyone. Please don't go past the stop sign. That does mark the end of our walk, and all that's back there is a service road, so there's not much to see anyway. If you can be back to the boat by 2:30, that is the time we are shooting for. You will need to leave a couple minutes earlier to get back to the boat. So again, 2:30, if you could be back here on the Viking, that is the time we'll be departing. When you get back on the boat, if you could please take the same seats that you are in. This keeps from any confusion or the occasional bloodshed over our beautiful lawn furniture. But once we do start going again, you are welcome to switch to an open seat. And you are also welcome to bring any snacks you buy back here on the boat. Just make sure you use the trash bins when you're done. One last request is that you stay seated with all body parts inside the vessel. We'll give you the verbal signal when it's safe to come ashore. Again, please stay seated while we dock, and welcome to Stand Rock.
ใช้ปลาหมึก watch เตา
Nói tiền là mua phun mua không ai xin hả?
I know, that's why 30 minutes the kid can grab something to eat.
It's on the bag.
I'm sure they will too.
I'll have to get it later.
So boys come back and help and grab the kid.
You wanna wake up, baby? You wanna go? Okay, we're gonna stop. Yeah, mommy, pull mom. Okay.
Right, guys, Justin, they can help you and grab it. We're gonna start here and then we're gonna go. Everybody can get out to the bathroom. Up here, go. Get out. Yeah. Turn on. Whoa. Really steaming down here now. Waterfall. There you go. Look at that here. There's another town. Yep, you got it. We're getting to the city now. Everybody here. Woo-hoo. We're done. We hit it back. Ta có một chạy bộ rồi. Qua ba với ta có một đôi tàu bộ kìa. Boat luôn. Tao này phải là boat. Cái boat trên road. Trời, tao ăn trên thôi chứ. Tao phát cái mùa đó. Back up, then we're going back. there's star even on it. Go ahead and back. Another one here. One star here.
Walk is very different from our first walk. It's in the shape of a C or a horseshoe. We'll be docking on this far right dock. When we're up at a short presentation, our captain will be moving from the right dock to the left dock that you can see off to the left side. This means at no point along the walk will you be able to retrace your steps. Otherwise, you'll be doing so through about 10 feet of water, and we can't let you do that today. It is about the same length as our first walk, but for about 100 yards or so, there is a 20% grade, which means for every 5 steps forward, it's about 1 step up. So it isn't too terribly strenuous, but just keep that in mind, because if you do attempt the walk, you will need to finish all of it. There is another concession.
Oh, we get out of the boat. No boat down. Whoa!
Careful. Steady.
Yeah, you're coming out now.
Careful.
Go up there.
To take a picture, you have to sit still up to 3 minutes for the photo to develop. Now, H.H. Bennett, he didn't really like that, so he created a device similar to the instant shutters in your cameras. It's made out of a cigar box and a couple of rubber bands, and he called this the snapper. He then took the snapper up and down the Wisconsin River, taking pictures of the lumberjacksmen during their rows. When he showed his photos at a fair in Chicago, people didn't believe his invention was real. They thought the photos were staged and that the ropes were held up by wires. This really discouraged H.H. Bennett until he laid eyes on this beautiful rock formation in front of you. So he took his snapper up to the ledge behind you. The trees weren't in the way at that time. And he sent his 14-year-old son, Ashley Bennett, up to that ledge. And like any good father, he told his son to jump across. That's exactly what Ashley Bennett did, but his father missed the first photo as well as the second and the third. It actually took 15 tries to get that perfect picture that you see here in front of you. Now, we obviously don't have Ashley Bennett with us today, but we do have one of our famous jumping German shepherds of Juneau County to recreate this photo for you. You guys like to get out your cameras? I do suggest a video. It's pretty fast. Yeah, and right between the two rock formations. Oh, we'll jump there.
Hey, where's the silver star?
You guys ready? Yeah. Okay. That's Paul. If you can give him a big round of applause.
So keep going. Set it out right there.
Okay.
Nice walking. Oh, I will see you guys through there. Lỡ là để lỡ cả bên mua cái chơi bài walk bài Oceanary help out in the No ice cream lo yo no thì mà ta cá lò lò tem bột Open up the lights. Kan kia lo mình kia sớm bao kia mua lo. Có thể là mua hết chỉ là mua hết từng tí nhé.
Down to our downtown docks. We'll be there in about 25 minutes. Since we're seeing the same things we saw on the way upriver, just on the other side of the boat, there's not a whole lot of guided commentary on the way back down. So to help pass the time as we go downriver, Ellie's going to be coming to the boat with the official guidebook of Dell's Boat Tours. Now these books do mean a lot to Ellie if you can take great care of them while they are in your possession. Don't spill ice cream on them, let the baby chew on them, frisbee them overboard, try to use them as water skis, anything like that. When Ellie's done handing them out, she'll then get back on the microphone, tell you her favorite parts of these books, and then she might even give you a chance to take one home with you. But until then, this time is built into our tour for you guys to enjoy your family, your friends, your loved one, anyone you brought.
You can take a look at it over your right shoulder, just coming into view here. Again, 6 feet up the water, that reads Leroy Gates, Dells and River Pilot from 1849 to 58. We lower those V-shaped cradles in on railroad tracks, flip these boats on top of the cradles, winch them up, and set them up on blocks where they can be repaired. It takes about 3 to 4 of our maintenance men right around a half an hour to get a boat the size of the Viking out of the water. That is a very different story for the oldest and largest boat in our fleet, the Clipper Winnebago, which you can see out in front of the boat just at about our 11 o'clock position, that all-white vessel. It takes our full crew of maintenance men almost a full working week to get the Clipper out of the water, which is why it'll come.
You know, they'll make a killer.